A secret code. As you read, think about how the code talkers helped our country. Do you wish you could make a code? You could send secret messages to your friends. Nobody would know what you were saying. Codes are fun, and they can also be important. Long ago, the Marines used a secret code to help win a war. The men who created this code were called code talkers. They were Navajo. That is a Native American nation. Navajo Troubles. Years before, the United States had been terrible to the Navajo. It forced them to leave their homes. Many Navajo had to leave the land their families had lived on for thousands of years. Navajo children were forced to go to schools where they were punished for speaking the Navajo language. But many students still spoke Navajo in secret. They didn't forget the language they loved. The Marines' problem. The Marines were lucky those young Navajo remembered their language. In 1942, the Marines had a problem. America was fighting in a big war called World War II. Marines tried to send messages in secret code, but the enemy kept figuring out the code. The Marines needed to make a secret code the enemy couldn't figure out. How would they do it? A Navajo code. Then the Marines got an idea. Why not use the Navajo language? It could make a tricky code. Most people didn't know the language. It was very hard to learn. Our enemies would not understand it. Hundreds of young Navajo men joined the Marines to become code talkers. Their code took English words and letters and matched them with Navajo words. For example, the code word for a destroyer ship was kalo, which means shark in Navajo. The code was ready, but would it work in battle? The code worked. It did. In one big battle, Navajo code talkers sent and received 800 coded messages in 2 days. They did not make one mistake. The code talkers helped win that battle. After World War II was over, the Marines told the code talkers to keep their work a secret. The code talkers went home quietly. Nobody thanked them. Celebrating the code talkers. That did finally change. In 1968, the Marines shared the story of what the code talkers did. Over time, the code talkers have received medals and marched in parades. Thank you, code talkers. Thank you for helping our country. By Aaron Kelly. In 1943, these code talkers sent messages on a radio. Code talker Dan Aki holds his medal in 2002.